this is Liv at Liv's Recovery Kitchen. I'm talking to Elena Brower, and she is a mama, a renowned author, teacher and speaker. She's the author of Art of Attention, an Artful Yoga workbook, which is now translated in 6 languages, and the creator of Teach Yoga, a virtual home for yoga teachers worldwide. You can practice with Elena on Yoga Glow, and I believe on your website there's also a link to a lot of free meditations that you do. Your next book, Practice You, is released in September by Sounds True. How's that as an intro?
Amazing.
And a person in recovery.
Yeah.
Is that how you would describe yourself?
If I had a choice, I would actually have that come after Mama. I would say Mama, woman in recovery.
Yeah.
And then all the rest of the things, because I feel like those two are the most important of all the distinctions.
Yeah.
And those are the two of which I am the most proud.
That's amazing. Tell me, what have you had for breakfast today?
So today was leftovers from the fridge. We make extras of everything, and it was a little bowl of quinoa, chickpeas, broccoli, kale, and my favorite dressing that I make, which is, I call it magical miso, but it's quite simple. It's just lemon juice, olive oil, and sweet white miso, and or mellow white miso, whatever's around.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
I can take you in the kitchen and show you exactly how I make it too.
I'm gonna have a go of that. Yeah, I love.
It's a blog, actually. If you search on my blog, Elena Brower, Evolving Buddha Bowl.
Awesome.
That's what it's called.
Are you vegetarian? Vegan?
No.
Okay.
No, I eat meat probably, 2 or 3 times a month, depending on when I wish to have some. And I'm always very conscious of the sourcing, obviously. Yeah. And I eat eggs a fair amount, fish a fair amount.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. Much the same. I try not to exclude things, but I try and eat as naturally as possible.
Yes.
Awesome. That sounds delicious. Okay, so tell me about your journey. I listened to the podcast, Home Podcast, where you were on. You've been on there twice now. Initially around the year mark, and most recently, I think it was episode 86. I think
87.
87.
87.
Yeah. I mean, I absolutely love their podcast, and I first came about you through listening to them. What I was particularly interested in is when you described your use of pot, and that was your drug of choice.
It was.
Yeah, you said that you were convinced at that time of using it that it connected you to your truth. Tell me about what led you to the realization that wasn't quite right.
It was just the daily dance of saying, oh, this will be the last time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, oh, no, this will be the last time.
Yeah.
Oh, no. This will be the last time. And that was about a year of that. And some very significant folks said to me at very significant moments certain things. I talk about this a lot, but Gabby Bernstein and I were talking at one point, and I knew that I was asking for help, but I didn't know how to ask for help because I was so inexperienced and denial of my addiction. And she said to me at one point, Elena, she said, you can't serve God if you're getting high every day. I was like, oh. All the air went out of my body. I was so deflated. And I remember the feeling like, she's so fucking right.
Yeah.
And I have to stop. But I didn't know how. And there was still that voice inside of me saying, oh, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
Smoke a little pot, no big deal. Then my teacher, Yoga Rupa Rod Stryker, said, you're in a good, it was something like this, you're in a good place when what doesn't serve you no longer feels good to you. Yeah. And I was slowly getting there. Okay, I'm going to go up on the roof again, or I'm going to go out with my friends again, I'm going to get high again. And then slowly over time, it just became this major liability. It just didn't feel good anymore.
And you you used Gabby Bernstein's book May Cause Miracles to start that process. Was that the only method of recovery that you used, or tell me about how you chose to recover?
I took her book, I opened it up, she sent me the galleys. I think she sent me home with the galleys the day that she said that. And it was about a week later that I was like, all right, I'll just do 40 days. She said 40 days would be great. Let's just do 40 days without weed. And so every day I would jump on Instagram. I would create a little picture based on the sort of mission of that day and May Cause Miracles, because it's a 40-day meditation. I wouldn't do it every day, but many days. I just look back on the feed now to see what it was like. And I have to say, I was so ready to be done with treating myself this way that in 40 days of just making art and treating myself with a little more care, I was done.
Yeah.
And at the end of the 40 days, I was like, you know what? This feels awesome. I'm not going back.
Yeah.
I'm not going back. And a lot of my friends followed me into it.
Because they saw the changes in you. Wow.
I reckon. You know, I don't know exactly why, but some of them said, oh yeah, you know, we could see that it was beneficial. And there were a lot of reasons. I think people need to get sober anyway in general. I think there's a lot of abuse of ourselves going on, and I think that's reflected in the aggregate picture right now of the world and the planet and the politics and the destruction that's happening in the most vulnerable areas.
Absolutely. Why do you think you were harming yourself? Was there something underneath that?
Yeah, it was just sad. I didn't feel a part of anything. You know, as good as I was at my job of teaching, and as much as I thought I was on purpose, but it wasn't until I got sober that I really realized what my purpose was. And for a long time, and still, it's to help women see that they don't have to hurt themselves to feel like they have control.
Yeah.
Then it's slowly evolving now that I have other businesses, and one in particular, it's slowly evolving into I'm here to actually support other women in becoming wealthy in every possible way.
Yeah.
Being a legacy of wealthy women is awesome. Not just wealthy financially, but yes, that. But wealthy in love, wealthy in heart, wealthy in spirit, wealthy in family. And then I started to realize that I definitely have purpose here. And now I need nothing, you know. I'm so happy to just eat a good meal and have a cup of tea and do my work and go to bed. Take a bath.
It's amazing, isn't it? I think that I just feel that it's like another dimension of experience, recovery, isn't it? You just feel so much more connected and so much more in tune. It's not easy. It sure as hell isn't easy. So tell me a little bit more about your purpose. How do you help other women?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is my actual business. I have an organization with doTerra, and it's awesome. We have about 3,500 of us worldwide. Wow. I have a nice team growing in the UK, actually. Yeah. And we are so conscious in support of one another in our mission. I know what I'm after. I'm after getting as many children as possible to grow up using the oils in their home and in their wellness, and go off to university with a little sack of oils.
That's fascinating. So tell me about the benefit. I've got a couple of the oils, actually. I love them. Tell me about, for people that don't know, tell me about the power of oils.
So essential oils are made from the constituent parts of plants and trees. So stems, leaves, flowers, buds, barks. And if you think about what each plant does in its natural environment, in its natural habitat, each plant has a very particular purpose to serve the ecology in which you find it. So this one is meant to repel this insect so that it can attract this insect. This one's meant to withstand certain weather conditions. This one's meant to help with analgesic properties.
Yeah.
And what we see is that each plant has, in knowing what their sort of capacity is in their natural habitat, each plant has a certain very particular effect on us.
Yeah.
And so we get to use the intelligence of the plants as, I keep these right near my desk, as essential oils.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And sort of partner with the oils to effect certain emotional states and physical well-being. Support you in your allergies, support you in your diet, support you in your supplementation, support you with your muscle soreness, with your arthritis. There are so many ways in which the oils can support you. And I want to assure you that I resisted this particular business for upwards of 3 years.
Did you?
Because I had all these misconceptions. What's network marketing anyway?
Yeah.
You know. And then I learned that it is far from being some sort of scheme that is meant to, take money and promise some money later on in time. We're actually just working with products that actually lend to our wellness right now.
Yeah.
And everything from these oils all the way to On Guard detergent that doTerra makes with its sort of antiviral, antibacterial blend.
Yeah. I really like that one.
Shampoo, all of it is such high quality, and I'm very particular about the things that I use. So I checked out everything with EWG, Environmental Working Group. I checked out all the ingredients, and everything works. It's always
because you can actually ingest these oils, can't you? Very few of them you can. So I thought that was particularly interesting.
There are very few that you can, and there's a lot of good intel on the doTerra.com website about. I actually have it right here in my little notebook. Pardon. Right on the doTerra.com website under Our Advocates, which is available to anyone. They have ebooks in the doTerra book for the internal use of essential oils.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, they provide a lot of great resources, and the truth is working with that company is a total victory for me. And I'm glad I resisted it because I really was very sort of hesitant and wasn't sure. And now having built a team, having a really exceptional residual income, and having contact with some of the most exquisite women I've ever known on a daily basis is a real honor to me.
That's fantastic. How come you just work with women? Why not men?
No, I mean, there are men on our team too.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to empower women because we are the ones who are most often raised to doubt ourselves. Yeah. So sad. But of course, I know plenty of men who are raised that way too and are working through it still to this day. Grown men.
Yeah, it's sad. So what else do you do with women? You do coaching,
Some coaching. I don't do coaching so much anymore, but what I do, and this is for men and women, I teach alongside the Handel group, just a few online events a year, webinars and audio seminars. Really nice.
And you're speaking at She Recovers next week as well.
I'm just in the middle of memorizing a 15-minute spoken word poem. Which I memorized 2.5 years ago when I wrote it, delivered it, or 2 years ago when I wrote it. But now I have to memorize it again, and I've added a little one stanza to the end, which I shared it with the girls on the She Recovers podcast in episode 87. It's really good. Yeah. It makes me cry every time I say it out loud, so I don't know what's going to happen there.
I can't wait to hear it. What inspired you to speak at that event?
I decided that was a really good way to move myself through it, was to share my experience and help other people.
What do you think about the way that the online recovery community is changing? And it feels like we're moving away from the traditional modalities of recovery like 12-step and into more connection-based events like this one. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's all moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
I don't actually have any opinion about 12-step or the difference between what's happening in 12-step. I think it's all valid. It's all important. It all matters. And whatever makes each person feel held is the way they should go.
And is that connection part of your recovery? Is that an active part?
When it was time for me, it was just time. Yeah. And I enough friends in recovery, Tommy Rosen, Gabby Bernstein, a couple of other people that perhaps this your listeners wouldn't have heard of, but are critical in my process.
Yeah.
That I call them anytime and say, hey, help.
Yeah.
It's happened very infrequently, but when it does happen, I really am so grateful for the assist and the guidance. That's everything right there, that I can reach out to somebody and ask for help and get it. That's everything.
And from some pretty incredible people as well. That's amazing.
I mean, but these are people with whom I've been friends for
a long time,
20 years, and they made it their business to share what they came to understand as well in a really good way, really efficient way.
It's interesting, isn't it, it's interesting to me how yoga came before recovery. Often it's the case where people find recovery and then go into yoga.
Right. No, for me, it was definitely the yoga, kind of gave me an insight into myself. And I started to see how I should and could be treating myself.
Yeah.
And then slowly it unfolded as it did.
How would you describe yoga as a tool, let's say, for somebody in recovery? What would be the benefits? How it could enhance your recovery? Well,
it's probably the most ancient modality for bringing you into a relationship with your breathing. Mm-hmm. And that's primary. Forget about all the movement for a moment. The movement helps you get in contact with your breathing, but really it's just about your breathing. And can you spend time listening to yourself breathing every day? Come into a relationship with yourself that actually helps you to keep going for one more day. Get your head to the pillow clean. That to me is everything in the practice. And then on top of that, with a teacher like Tommy Rosen and his teacher Guru Singh, my teacher Yoga Rupa Rod Stryker, you get to arrange your body in ways that actually effect shifts in your chemistry that help you feel that lift that you were once getting from a substance or a person or whatever your addiction was. You can experience that lift inside of yourself in this vehicle.
Yeah.
That to me is so much of it too. So yeah, it just brings you, in general, it brings you closer to yourself, and that's a very important aspect to all of us of recovery.
Would you say your practice of yoga has changed being in recovery?
For sure, it's gotten a lot slower, a lot more caring, careful, nourishing, and enriching.
That's it's interesting. When I was in my 20s, I used to do much more fast-paced yoga, much more intense. And then as I've come into my 30s, I crave like restorative and yin, and I've not been able to practice because I broke my arm a few weeks ago. And
let me see.
Well, you can barely see. It's can you see that?
Yeah.
I broke the head of my radius.
How'd you manage that?
I fell off my bike.
Oh, God.
I know. Move to America, fall off a bike, break your arm. So, I mean, it's been a challenge for sure. And I've really missed yoga. I find it so difficult to get over the barriers that I put in place of practice. What advice, I mean, as much for me as anybody else, what advice would you give to somebody about those barriers? I can always find an excuse why not to practice.
I feel that it's the only way into my steady inner calm, and that's a priority for me.
Could you get that way through meditation?
Yes, but I have to move a little bit before I meditate. That's the truth. I'm much better off and much more able to access the the depth of a sitting once I've moved around a little bit. So just chilled my nervous system a little bit.
And is that how you begin your day? Do you start with the yoga?
Yes.
I wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm most passionate about, which is physical recovery, and how when you get into recovery, your relationship with your body changes, and your relationship with food, which I think is, I mean, it's all encompassed into one. What's been your experience of that?
Well, in figuring out what's really beneficial for myself and starting to highlight those things, I find that I actually don't have any desire to eat poorly. I've definitely used essential oils in my recovery from sugar. Now 6 weeks, no sugar. Yeah, just a little bit of dark chocolate almost every day, not quite every day. But I use cinnamon oil to beat the sugar cravings, just a little dot on my tongue. I diffuse it often with lemongrass, and that helps a lot. It's to answer your question, it's basically anything that I can do to further my health is done now.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was like, oh, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll
do it later. Yeah.
Later. Now it's like, no, I'm going to take a bath this evening. I'm going to take a bath tomorrow evening. I'm going to take a bath almost every single night of the week now, just to get warm and happy and settled, and salts and minerals, and whereas before it was like, oh, I'll do a bath tomorrow.
So the love for yourself has increased enough to make self-care really important to you.
Yes, that's well said.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's like a scale that tips. That's how I would describe it. I didn't care enough about myself, and now I'm, it can go up and down at times.
Yes.
Okay, and just a couple more questions. I just wanted to ask what your favourite meal is.
It depends. The meal that I had this morning for breakfast is kind of my really favorite go-to.
Yeah.
Chickpeas, some variation on that meal, maybe some eggs, maybe some salmon, maybe some dressing, maybe some other dressing. I have a couple other tricks up my sleeve with tahini.
I love tahini and lemon. It's so good.
There is a restaurant here that is super decadent called Capo Masa. It's a Japanese restaurant. They do such a phenomenal job there. And then there's also a restaurant here that I really, really love and treasure called Blue Hill, which is farm to table, and it changes every season, and it's the most delicious.
That's not the people that were on Netflix Chef's Table, is it? The guy that has a place upstate New York.
The very first episode, Dan Barber.
Yeah.
He's the head chef of that. He has Stone Barns, which is upstate, and then Blue Hill, which is in the West Village of Manhattan. Just exceptional. But I would have to say those are my 3 favorite meals.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. And lastly, what would you say are your top 5 recovery tools?
Essential oils, meditation, yoga, affirmations, and lots of nourishing yourself with books and reading. I'm going to show you my little situation here.
Oh, wow.
So that's where I practice every day. That's where I sit. Can you see it well?
Yeah.
There we go. And then this is where, I keep all my study situations, and I'm always sitting here and taking notes all the time.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm very lucky to have a little office space in my house.
I would love that.
And then I have a standing desk too, but this is where I kind of sit in the mornings. This is the relevant practice place.
It sounds fantastic. You've been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I'm honoured.
I'm so honored too. Thank you very much for all the good work that you're doing. Thank you for all the people that you've touched and reached. I'm sure that it's many hundreds, thousands.
I hope so. I can only hope that. Yeah.
Oh, if not more. And I'm very proud of you. Very good work. Very proud of you.